Hello everybody, and welcome back again. Today, as you can see, we're going to work on a wreath. So this wreath, my mother-in-law had given it to me, and it had these little white flowers all over it. And I decided to pull off all the white flowers, and come to find out the wreath is really cool because it's just a whole bunch of sticks that somebody put together and used wire to put together, but it's really a cool wreath for the fall. It's a really cool fall wreath. And actually for any time of year, but I'm going to use it for the fall. So it also has a hanger on the back. Here it is. There's a little hanger back here. So that's going to be our top. And we are going to hang a sign in it, so it does matter which way the top is because it's going to have words. Okay, so we're going to start with that. And then I have this sign here. It says Hello Fall. And it's from a place called Crafty Beginnings. And what I did was I went online and I just typed in fall, or not fall, I think I just put in wood cutout sayings. And this place popped up along with some other places. And so I was looking at it and I liked a lot of their signs. And so I bought from there. And if you buy so many signs, you get a little bit of a discount if you pay so much money, or you get free shipping also. And so I had done this actually quite a while ago because I've showed you other signs from this company. And so now it was all taped together. I pulled the tape off, and what happens, they send it like this so that it won't break, but when you pull the tape off, it falls apart very easily. So let's see. Well, normally it does. Okay. And so that's what happens, and then here's your Hello Fall, and then this part you can just throw away. So these little flowers that were on here, I do save them because I do end up using that stuff later on, which you'll see even with this. I'll have a couple things that are saved from a previous time. So I was going to take, next step, I was going to take this fall sign and take it outside and paint it. Now I have a paint that I already had left over. This is from Hobby Lobby. It was $5.99, and it's called Seaweed. It's a seaweed color, which I thought would go good because some of the colors we're using, if you look at the green, it's kind of a seaweedy green color. So I think it'll match real pretty. So I'm going to go ahead outside and spray these, and then I'll be back. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I am going to have to go out and do a second coat on that, but right now it's drying, so we'll just move on. So we want to make sure that the top of our wreath is sitting at the top here. And it doesn't really matter too much right now until we start putting, after we get the flowers on and we start putting other things on it. But for now, we're going to start with these orange flowers. I have like 4 of them, and they were from Hobby Lobby. I also had gotten these from Hobby Lobby also. Now, I don't know the prices of these because I had gotten them a long time ago, and they were in a big floral arrangement, which I pulled apart and decided to use in different places. And so I thought the orange and the yellow are going to look good on here right now. And so I'm going to go ahead and put them on here. So I'm going to actually cut these apart. Oops. Into like 4 sections. And I'll just set the leaves to the side just in case we need a filler for later. But I'm going to cut 2 of these apart and then see how much more we need. Always hang on to your greenery until you're finished with your wreath, because it could be that your wreath looks a little scarce and you wish that you had the greenery. So hang on to that. Okay, so then the yellow ones, I'm going to also cut them off right around here, like before the green stems. And I'm going to hang on to that greenery also because I do believe I will use that. There it goes. So I have 3 of the yellow ones. I'm going to cut all 3 of them off. They're such nice, big, pretty flowers, and they're made really well. And I usually try to go for flowers that I think look kind of real. I don't know, I don't like the real. So Dollar Tree has some really good flowers, but then they have some flowers that kind of, you can tell they're real fakey. I like the stuff that looks a little more real. I mean, I know I have a little bit of stuff like this that looks a little more fakey, but I don't know how to explain it. I think you'll get an eye for it as you start doing more and more of this kind of stuff. Okay. All right, so I also have these white flowers, which are from Dollar Tree. So they were just $1 each, and I thought they looked pretty folly. And so I'm going to also cut the tags off of those. There's 3 of them. I thought I had 4 of them. Okay, well, there's 3 of them. They're mums, and they're kind of a creamy white color. Okay, so once you're done cutting all that off, we're going to go ahead and start putting it together. And I think I'm going to go ahead and cut all these flowers apart. Okay, so I'm not going to cut all of them apart yet. I just did one bunch so far because I want to see how many I need before I cut them all apart. So I am going to just keep taking all the tags off of everything. These are also $1 from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to take the tags off them, and then these are also $1 from the Dollar Tree. So once we have the tags off, we can kind of start arranging how we want it. So usually when I go ahead and start arranging things, I kind of start with the stuff that's a little bit longer. Like these are kind of short and stubby, and these are a little longer. So I usually start, especially for a wreath like this where it's fanned out like that, I usually start with the things that are a little longer and kind of try to find cute spots for them. Just kind of spread them out a little bit. And I first eye it and set it on my wreath to see kind of how it's going to look. And so I would also start with something like these. I might want to cut them apart a little bit. I'm just checking to see for sure. If you were to cut them apart, though, you want to be sure to get some of the yellows and greens on each side, and the orange. See how there's one orange on this side and one orange on this side? You want to do something like that, too. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so what happens is some of them turn into a bunch of little pieces. To keep those together, you would wire them together. So what I'm doing is just setting them all on the wreath where I think they're going to look nice. And then I'll go back and wire them or hot glue them. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get up and move the camera so that it's pointing down better onto the project. Okay, I hope that's a little bit better. So let's see. Okay, so as you can see, we've got it kind of spread around on here, the orange and the little wheat flowers. Okay, so once that's done, you just move that stuff to the side. We can move on to, I think, probably these white flowers next. And so you would just kind of place them in where you think you're going to want them. I just want to set everything in once and make sure it's kind of how we want it to be so that we don't have to redo anything. So everywhere there's an orange flower, like one of these orange flowers, I'm going to put a white flower, then the orange flower. I'm going to do it every single place. You don't have to be this uniform. I want to do it. You'll see, it'll come together pretty. Okay, once you did that, then you can cut apart some more of these. We are going to need more. So now you're kind of going in between the orange flower and the other wheat. You're just spreading it out. Now these can be turned so you can see them on the outside like this. Turn them like this. This. It fills it in a little better also, and it just looks cuter. So then the really big yellow ones, we also want to turn them like that, where they're sticking out like this. Okay, so you can cut some of that part off if you want to, or you can just wire it in. I think I'm going to go ahead and start wiring some of it now that I know where everything's going to go, and then we can add more stuff in afterwards. So I'm going to move the yellow ones now that I know where everything's going. So I'm going to go ahead and just take pieces of wire and go around some of the flowers. You probably want to twist it behind the wreath so you don't see the twisted wire. I'm going to also grab my glue gun. And let it be heating up. Get some glue sticks out. Okay. So you kind of wire it in place, and then you probably want to put a little bit of glue also, just to hold it on, because in case it might want to try to slip out of the wire. Okay, so first I'm going to wire some of them in, and then we'll go back and glue it. And you're trying not to squeeze all the branches together. Try to get at least 2 of your flowers in there, 2 or 3 maybe, when you're using your wire. Just to save yourself a little time. That's the only reason for that. Otherwise, you can just wire each one individually, however it's easiest for you. Okay, my hot glue gun is heated up, so I'm going to go ahead, and the ones that I wired, I'm going to go ahead and just stick a little bit of glue just to hold them in place. And then I'm just going to keep on wiring all the way around and hot gluing, and then I'll be back. Okay, so once you get to this point, you've got kind of a base to your wreath kind of going on right now. And so now you're just going to keep adding until it's the way you want it to look. So like as full as you want it. Some people like a wreath that has a little bit on it, and some like it with where it's pretty full. I like them pretty full usually, but I do it different ways, different times. I'm going to go ahead and add the big yellow flowers. I think I'm going to cut a little more of the base off of it. So this is the top. So I'm going to just place them in every so often, and I'm going to go ahead and hot glue them in. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other 2 also. Now again, these yellow ones, I only have 3, and so I'm just going to go kind of every third somewhere around in here. Again, your wreath doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. Some of it, I usually do some of it that way, and then some of it, I'll kind of wing it a little bit. Okay, so 1 more. Okay, so this is what we have so far, and I'm going to keep adding things to it though. So now we're going to go ahead, and I think we'll add these in and see where we want these to go. So you're looking for the spots that are kind of scarce. They don't have quite as much stuff as the other parts do, and that's where you're going to stick them in there. How many do we have? So we have 3 of them. And we can cut them into like 4 if we want to. Which is what I think I will do. So I'm going to go ahead and take some off of that one. I'll take one off of this one. And one off of this one. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and slide them in under here if I can. And then I'm going to try to kind of spread them out a little, maybe. I just bend them different ways until I think they look good. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm just kind of pushing them into the wire that's already there, and that will hold them in place a little bit. And then I just turn them the different ways I want them once they're in there. And it's in pretty good, so I don't really think I even have to glue them. That's what's nice about them having the wire on them. And if there is a point where you think it's not stuck in there very good, just go ahead and hit it with a little bit of the glue from the glue gun. Okay, so this one I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a little bit of glue from the glue gun because they were all separate and I did wire them together, but it can slide out of the wire if it's turned any certain way. Okay. And then I'll kind of show you what I have so far, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And now we're going to just keep adding a couple more in until we think it's nice and full and pretty. Now these were the ones that were on it originally that my mother-in-law had when my mother-in-law gave it to me. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe put a couple of them in here. So you kind of can just go around and just plop them in a little bit here and there and see what you think. And then if you like it, keep it. And if you don't, then take it away. Okay, so here's what we have. And then I have these. They were left over from another wreath that I had pulled apart. I'm going to go ahead and put those in here too. Okay. So here's what we have. And now we're going to add some other cute little things in. From the Dollar Tree, I bought some little cutie things. So there's these cute little corns. And so I was going to add those too. So I'm going to cut the little tags off. So then you just kind of eye it and see where you think they'd look cute. So we have yellow in all these 3 spots. So we might want to stick it in a spot that doesn't have the yellow. So there's kind of a little space right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hot glue it right in there. Plus it has a good little spot to sit. So hopefully when it's on your door, it stays glued to the hot glue. Like it kind of has a good spot to sit. What I mean by that is there's no flowers. The flowers kind of hold it in its spot. Okay, and then we have another one. And then I also have a cute little owl. He's from Dollar Tree also. I'm going to cut his tag off too. And a gourd. And I'm going to cut that one off. So then what you do is you kind of eye it again. Wherever your top is, you kind of want your owl to sit somewhere cute. You are going to have your happy fall in there too. I might wait to put the owl on until we get the happy fall. No, I think he'll sit right here. He'd look real cute right here. Go ahead and put him there. And I think what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to take a piece of wire, make it kind of long, not huge, but kind of long. And since he's made of material, I'm going to poke the wire through his material because this will help to hold him on. So now it's through his material, and we're going to go ahead and just wire him on. So then I have a gourd and a corn. Okay. I think I'll go ahead and stick the corn in here. And the corn stalk, the end of the corn stalk is a little long, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut some of it off. Okay, so the corn is in, and now we need our gourd in here. But we're just going to add these last couple things. There are a couple of leaves. They're green and red. I'm going to cut off any. These now, they just came from off of another thing. My mother-in-law had given me something, and I pulled these off of it. And I'm just cutting them short. And I want to find a spot for them to go. Now you want to turn it so that the pretty side is facing up so you can see it. And then wherever you think you need a little color, that's where you plop that in. And you can add a little glue to the end of it before you do. And it'll hold it in. I'm going to shove it under this yellow flower. Okay. And then you just kind of fluff everything up as you go along. Try to make everything show. Okay, so we have another one of those. We're going to go ahead and put it, looks like we could use something right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue at the end of it. And put it underneath the piece of corn. Like this. Okay. And then there's one more. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. And if you see anywhere that needs color, you can always add a little bit of your other stuff. But I think we're about done there. So now we just need our happy fall sign. That's where we are so far. So now we just need the happy fall sign, and we're going to wire it in. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some wire. And I'm going to cut 2 of them because I think I'm going to try to hold it in with just the wire. Okay, so then you look, you see, is there anything that looks bare? Because remember, you still have your leaves if you need them. And so I think I'm going to wait till we stick our sign in there. As soon as I get the sign in, we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so here's our Hello Fall sign. And I'm going to just see where the top is. Okay, right here. See how it'll sit in here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wire it. I'm trying to put it in spots where you won't see the wire. It helps that the wire is green, and we painted that green, so that helps. Okay, so here's our finished product. What do you think? I hope you guys enjoyed this craft, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button and tell your friends about me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.